Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial, and today's tutorial is going to be this leafy pattern, and it's very easy to make. You can increase the size if you like, and then you can also use any color of yarn. For this tutorial you'll need your yarn. I'm using Lana Stop. It's 50 grams. It recommends a 3mm hook, but I use the 3.5mm hook. You'll need stitch markers and then your pair of scissors. Let's get into the tutorial. Begin by making a slip knot. Chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You're going to slip stitch to the first chain to make a loop. Now you're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Into that loop you're going to place 6 trebles. Wrap your yarn twice, insert your hook in the loop, pull your yarn through, pull through 2 loops. You'll be left with 2 loops on the hook. Pull through 2 loops. You'll be left with 2 loops on the hook. Pull through the 2 loops. Yarn your yarn twice, insert your hook, pull your yarn through, pull through 2. You'll be left with 3 stitches on the hook. Pull through the 2 stitches and then the last 2 stitches. That's how you do a treble. You're going to add 4 more trebles in the loop. This is 4. 5. And 6. You're going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to add 6 more trebles into the same loop. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. 5. And 6. Now you're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to find the 5th chain. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you slip stitch. Chain 3, and into that chain space you're going to go in with 10 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And into the stitches, into the 6 stitches, you're going to go in with double crochets, but in the back loops only. So this is 1, double crochet in the back loops only, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, and into that chain 4 space you're going to go in with 4 double crochets, two, 3 and 4. Okay, you're going to chain 2 and add 4 more double crochets into that chain 4 space. And on top of the 6 stitches you're going to go in with double crochets, but in the back loop only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, into that chain 5 space you're going to go in with 10 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay, slip stitch to the 3rd chain to finish off this row. So this is how your work should look like at this point. And for the next row, this is the row that we are going to start increasing, and it's where our stitch markers are going to get in. Chain 3, and this is where we're going to start increasing. Into that very next stitch you'll go in with 2 double crochets, but in the back loop only. Into the next stitch place 1 double crochet. Into the next stitch go in with 2 double crochets, one double crochet in the next stitch, and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. We are only increasing into the 10 stitches. So 1 double crochet in the next stitch and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. 1 double crochet in the next, and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And then at the end of these 10 stitches, you should end with a double crochet, and here is where your stitch marker is going to come in. Find your stitch marker and place it into that last stitch you worked in. Now into the rest of the stitches, you're going to place 1 double crochet until you reach the chain 2 space. So go in the back loops only and double crochet into each and every stitch until you reach the chain 2 space. You just go in with double crochets in the back loops only. So when you arrive at the chain 2 space, you're going to go in with 4 double crochets, 2, 3, and 4. You'll chain 2 and place 4 more double crochets in the same chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now into the stitches, you're going to place 1 double crochet into each of the stitches. You should have 10 stitches in total on top of these stitches before you reach the 10 stitches in the chain space. So go ahead in the back loops, find the back loop and double crochet. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, now we are going to mirror the same thing that we did when we were increasing on this side on top of the 10 stitches. We ended with a double crochet, 1 double crochet, and it's what we are going to begin with. So in that first stitch, you're going to go in with a double crochet, and you'll put your stitch marker into that very first stitch, so we will know that when we are increasing in the next row is where we are going to stop. Okay, so place 2 double crochets into the next stitch, one double crochet in the next stitch, and 2 double crochets into the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and 2 double crochets into the next stitch in the back loops only. Okay, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and 2 double crochets into the next stitch. 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and 2 double crochets into that last stitch. So we have mirrored what we are doing on the other side. You're just going to slip stitch on top of the third chain to complete this row. Now for the 1, 2, 3, for the fourth row, you chain 3, and we're still increasing. Into that next stitch, you go in with 2 double crochets, and into the next stitch you go in into the next 2 stitches you go in with 1 double crochet. So you place 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, 2 double crochets in the next stitch, back loops only, and 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Two double crochet in the next stitch, and 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. You're going to repeat, you're going to alternate between two double crochets in 1 stitch and 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Okay, and then 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Two double crochet into the next stitch, and 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. So you're going to take out the stitch marker and place that last double crochet, and you're going to put back the stitch marker so you don't get lost where to increase. And now you're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 14 stitches. So go ahead and do that. You just go into the back loops and double crochet into the next 14 stitches until you reach the chain 2 space. Okay, and when you arrive the chain 2 space, you're going to go in with 4 double crochets, 2, 3, and 4. You're going to chain 2 and add more 4 double crochets into that same chain 2 space. 2, 3, and 4. And you're going to place 1 double crochet in the next 14 stitches until you reach the stitch marker. So go ahead and work in the back loops only, placing 1 double crochet in the next 14 stitches. When you arrive the stitch marker, you can take it out, and into the stitch marker we are still going to mirror what we did on the other side. You'll go in with 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, because we ended with 2 double crochets on the other side, and into that first stitch you're going to put back your stitch marker, and in the next stitch you'll go in with 2 double crochets and 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Two double crochets in the next 2 stitches. 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Two double crochets in the next stitch, and 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. Two double crochets in the next stitch, and 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and into the last stitch you're going to place 2 double crochets. You're going to find the 3rd stitch and you will slip stitch on top of that 3rd stitch. So at this point, this is how your work should be looking like. If you have noticed, in the 3rd row we started increasing by 1. You place 2 and 1 in the next, and then in this row that we just finished we put 2 double crochets and 1 double crochet in the next 2. So you can guess it's going to continue like this. In the next row you will place 2 double crochets and 3 double crochets in the next stitch. So go ahead, chain 3 and place 2 double crochets into the next stitch, but in the back loop only. And then 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Two double crochets into the next stitch, and 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. So alternate that and until you reach the stitch marker. So you continue placing your double crochets and then we meet up when you arrive the stitch marker. Alright, so I'm arriving the stitch marker and I'm left with 3 stitches. Okay, the 3rd stitch is where this the stitch marker is. So just go ahead and place your last 3 double crochets. You can take out the stitch marker and place the last double crochet. Put back the stitch marker. And you're going to continue with the pattern. So you're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 18 stitches until you reach the chain 2 space. In the chain 2 space you will put 4 double crochets, chain 2 and 4 more double crochets into the same stitch, and then you continue working double crochets, 18 double crochets, until you reach the next stitch marker. So let's meet there and then I'll show you what to do. Okay, so I've arrived at the stitch marker. I worked my rows and you're going to take out the stitch marker and you're going to put a double crochet into that stitch. Put back your stitch marker and a double crochet into the next stitch, and then another double crochet into the next stitch. Those are 3, just like we ended on this side, and then place 2 double crochets into the next stitch. One double crochet into the next 3 stitches, and then 2 double crochets in the next stitch. One double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. One double crochet in the next 3 stitches, 2 and 3, 2 double crochets in the next stitch, one double crochet in the next 3 stitches, and 2 double crochets into the last stitch. So you see there's that chain 3 we already started with. We don't count that, so don't worry about it. Slip stitch on top of the chain 3 to finish off this row. And for this next row you will chain 3, and we're going to do the same exact thing, increasing 2 double crochets in the next stitch and 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches, so the number increases. You're going to work a total of 9 rows, so we have 1 2 3 4 5. So you're going to add 4 more rows to this, increasing. Let me show you this one more time, and then I'll let you finish the 4 rows. You're going to double crochet, 2 double crochets in the next stitch, and 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. And 4. In the next stitch, 2 double crochets, and 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. Okay, so I'm going to let you finish the 4 rows that are left. You keep increasing, and when you reach the stitch marker, after placing your last 4 stitches, the 4th one will be where the stitch marker is. you will insert the stitch marker back. You'll do the same thing on this side. Into the chain 2 spaces, you're going to place 4 double crochets and chain 2, 4 more double crochets. Go ahead and work 4 rows, and then we'll meet up once you have the 4 rows. In total you should have 9 rows. Okay, go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've arrived my 9th row, and you should always end with 2 double crochets into the last stitch. Now this is how your work should be looking like. In the last row, from where you start to the stitch marker, of course you don't count the chain 3, you should have a total of 45 stitches, and from the stitch marker to the chain 2 space you should have a total of 38 stitches. That should be the same on the other side. So let's move on. You're going to slip stitch to the 3rd row, to the 3rd stitch. And now we are going to move on to the last row. We are moving on to the last row. You're going to chain 3, and into that same stitch you're going to go in with 1 more double crochet, chain 2, and place 2 more double crochets into that stitch. You're going to skip the next 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the 5th. Into the 5th stitch, you're going to go in with 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Skip the next 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the 5th one you will go in with 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets into the same stitch. Skip the next 4 chain stitches, and into the 5th stitch you're going to go in with 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets into the same stitch. And you're going to repeat this until you reach that chain 2 space. So go ahead and we meet up there. You skip the next 4 stitches, and into the 5th one you place a double crochet, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. Go ahead and do that, and we meet up when you arrive the chain 2 space. Okay, so I'm arriving my chain 2, and I have 3 stitches left. You're going to skip the 3 stitches, and you're going to just go into the chain 2 space with 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. you're going to skip the next 3 stitches, and into that 4th you're going to place 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. And you're going to continue what you did on the other side. You're going to skip the next 4 stitches, 1 2 3 4, and in the 5th stitch you're going to go in with 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets, skip next 4 stitches, and in the 5th stitch you go in with 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets. So continue skipping 4 stitches and double crocheting into the 5th stitch. So you're going to do that until you arrive at the end, of the row. 1 2 3 4, and in the 5th you put a double crochet, chain 2 and 2 more double crochets. I've arrived at the end of the row and I'm left with 1 2 3 and 4 stitches. I'm just going to find the 3rd chain and slip stitch. You skip the 4 stitches and slip stitch into that 3rd chain. So at this point, this is how your work should look like. Moving on to the next row, and if you've noticed, for the border we have been working into both loops, and working into the back loops only gives us this nice texture. So you're going to slip stitch into that next stitch and into the chain 2 space. You're going to chain 3 and place 1 more double crochet into that stitch, 2 more, to make 3, chain 2 and place 3 more double crochets into that same stitch. You're going to yarn over and you're going to directly work 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space, chain 2 and 3 more double crochets. Into the next chain 2 space. Don't mind the spaces in between, just go with 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space, chain 2 and 3 more double crochets in the same space. Okay, you're going to repeat this for this row. We meet up at the end of the row. You just go in into the chain 2 spaces with 3 double crochets, chaining 2 for a spacer, chaining 2 for a spacer, and you add 3 more double crochets. It's what you're going to do for the rest of the chain 2 spaces. So go ahead and work your double crochets and we meet up at the end of the row. I've arrived at the end of the row, and I'm going to slip stitch on top of the chain 3, slip stitch into the next 2 stitches, and into that chain 2. So this is going to be our last row. You're going to chain 1, you'll chain 2. Into that same stitch you're going to go in with 7 more single crochets. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So there will be 8 in total plus the chain 2. Into that space you're going to single crochet, and into the chain 2 space you're going to go in with 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Single crochet into the space. Into that space you're going to single crochet, and into the chain 2 space you're going to go in with 8 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Into that space you're going to single crochet, and 8 single crochets in the chain 2 space. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you're going to repeat, you're going to continue doing that until you arrive at the end of this row. So go ahead and finish placing your single crochets, and then we meet up at the end of the row. Single crochet and 8 single crochets in the chain 2 space. So I'm working my last pair of single crochets. Six, 7, and 8. You're going to slip stitch on top of the chain 2. If you have a hard time finding the chain 2, just slip stitch on top of the stitch. You're going to chain 1 to secure your work and cut your yarn. So at this point your table placemat is done. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell to get notified every time I post a video. Make sure to weave in all the loose ends, and see you again in the next video.